So here at Worden's Ledges, just kind of showing how I believe this place, along with hiding old structures and living beings, because rocks are biology, not geology, and or petrified leftover remains of structures. And it's definitely hard to get the right perspective in a camera. But if you look at the markings on this quote-unquote rock, and this whole area here, to me this looks like a structure. And I believe, because this is a huge hill that I'm on, that this entire quote-unquote park was once a huge, massive palace of some kind. That is actually going down there. That's down. Very high up, about in the middle of where this is all at. The narrative that they give, which I think probably there's a little bit of truth mixed into it, is that there was a family that owned this land, and on this land they had a small factory in the mid-1800s, and they made chisels. And the family tested the chisels out on these quote-unquote rocks. I believe that some of that's true, but also that there were fossils, remains of huge, giant creatures that were once here, and the remains of this, what I believe probably was a massive, massive palace of some kind of great importance. Here is one of the creatures that I believe was here. What they did was do some extra carving to make it look like it's, you know, art. But I believe this was actually a creature of some kind. Or my other theory is that this sat upon the palace or huge structure that was here as part of the symbolism of what it was. And I believe that we are now in Satan's short season, and all of the structures that were built by the archangels during the reign of Jesus, when he was already here, a lot of it's been destroyed, and the narrative has been changed. Outside of this. So as I walk further along, there will be some truth and there will be some deception through carvings, but I've found the real creatures, and I'll go show you now. He's hiding right over here, and I'm going to walk up in there. Right now. All right, here he is. I found this beautiful guy about 5 or 6 years ago, and this is off of the path. This is not a part of this little area per se, but this guy definitely got petrified. Look at the scales. Just gorgeous. Huge. I don't think it stopped there. You know, I mean, I go back and forth. It definitely has these teeth. So what do you guys think? What do you think this is? I mean, it clearly looks reptilian, but it also kind of, you know, looks like could be a snake too. It's really long, but look how wide it really is back there. And it could be even wider, but it kind of does look like it stops there. So, but it definitely looks like it would be longer than that. It's just And then while I'm standing here, just to kind of show you how this is all over the place, these structures, I believe, not rocks, were, you know, this is metal to me. That's metal. Well, here we go. If you can see, the color is completely different on some of this quote-unquote rock. This, to me, looks metallic, like almost like rusted iron of some kind. I sometimes see these massive structures. I also sometimes see them as leftover ships, because to me that almost looks like a ship with a face on the front of it. Mouth, nose, chin, eye. But this definitely looks to me like metal. And these layers are very interesting. It just looks very put together on purpose, because it's the same thing on this one. When I stand here, the sensation I get is that I'm standing in a place that once was a very big place and had a lot of meaning. I feel the energy from it. So here is an example of one of the actual carvings. And H.M. Worden, 1851. What I believe, though, is that this is part of the structure, and this is just the corner, because it's look how sharp edged that is. You know, at one point, this maybe just the structure was in some way demoed, like a demolition. Just get in on these markings here on the side of this one. Very interesting. Looks like melted faces. Looks like that was melted. Here's another example of carving. Looks perfect. You know, it's said that this family made chisels, but I believe that they were actually just the keepers of one of the technologies left over from the previous world just before. You know, like all of our technology that we have today has already been here. There's nothing new under the sun. It was around way before, and they've just been trickling it out to us very slowly. But that technology has always been here. It's nothing new, especially the ones that own it all. They just trickle it out very slowly to us. They hijacked all the technology from the previous world, which they were highly, highly advanced, much more than we are even now. I don't think we've even seen the tip of the iceberg of the technology that they know of. But I'm going to get a couple more of these carvings. It's another carving of a ship. There we go. And like I said, you know, these carvings are to mislead and change the narrative. To me, this just looks like a huge, you know, really huge ship. You know, that's the part that's under the water. That looks like the front of it. Here they carved in a baseball player's name, of course, Cobb, the double B. We all know what that means. But this does look like a giant, this one looks like a giant ship. But, you know, maybe this palace was designed after that. I love hearing ideas, so anybody who has any thoughts on any of this stuff, please let it be known in the comments. You know, we're all here just trying to figure this stuff out together. We've been lied to about everything. You know, it's not like we're going to change the world or change the system by figuring it out, but it does liberate you, and it brings you right up next to God. Here's the backside of that, what I thought looked like a ship. You know, this looks very similar to the one just behind it. So these look like independent structures from that. Maybe this was a port. But look at that face. You can see the mouth there. Like the front of a ship. Interesting. Or, you know, very, very huge throne. And that's the arm of a throne. Maybe that's what these are. Huge throne. You know, one that, you know, a giant, even a titan would sit at. Or a very big angel. And this is just behind the one I was just showing you. Seems to be another one, independent of that one. You can see the metal there in the front. The metal there in the back of that one. And again, it's, you know, just like all these, they're all layered. Which to me points out that these were structures. Look at that big, that's the bottom of a face that's been cut off. Look at that. That is not a carving. Wow, that's really, look at that nose and mouth. Almost looks like it has a helmet on. So, if that's biological, maybe it was a guard. Maybe a giant, but small compared to who owned this structure. I'm just throwing ideas out. Tell me what you guys think, if anybody has ideas. See, they like to mislead every step you take. Restoration area, stay on the trail, so they don't want you catching on to anything. And that's the first one I've seen of these, so it's interesting as I move forward to see what they're hiding. So this is kind of the end of the trail, and I'm just past where they said they were restoring. And I think this trail used to go over this ravine here. And last time I was here a few times, but one of the times I was here, I found a giant dragon head. And I think that's what they are, maybe one of the things they're trying to hide, because it was pretty obvious. But I do have old footage of that, and hopefully I can find that and put this in that video right after this. So here are the front steps, quote unquote, of the structure. These are really, really massive stones for this walkway, which, according to their narrative, went up to where there used to be a house here of the owner of this land, Worden. But, you know, this is in the mid-1800s. You know, to use stones this big, just, you know, for your house, really does not fit the narrative. So I fully believe that this whole thing where we were just at, that structure, is more or less underneath of us right here, going all the way down to it. And this was just, you know, maybe this is just a front little ledge that they left exposed when they covered this over. It was said that this house was demolished in 2017. So that was Warden's Ledges, and they like to put these pictures up. Days of horse and buggy and chisels and no power tools. Yet structures like this were built. You can pause it and read their narrative there. But that's just one of many spots, you know, across all of Earth. Just here in my little neck of the woods, the amount of places that I find that prove God was here, Jesus was here, and the remains are still here.